So good morning. Today is bad hair day. What it really means is we're working on the van today. We are doing the head gasket. I've got some other parts for it. Some headers, the distributor, it's an HI distributor, and a Weber 3236 carburetor. Why? Because I'm freaking crazy. But I want to go past 65 miles an hour. I'm not looking to do burnouts or anything. Woke up a little while ago, coffee is on. Just grabbed the camera, and this is actually a camera battery check, and we're full, so let's go for a ride. So yeah, we're going to do it a little bit sloppy today. I'm holding the camera. Today we're doing the head gasket. We're popping the head off. Take all that stuff off. Totally unscripted and all that good fancy stuff. Alright. We're going to make a hole. We gotta get in there. Easiest way to do it. Drop that cover back. Pull the seats. I'm using gloves, so it's hard to tell, but I'm pull the seats. So I can work on this side. And pull it all off. Because it's threatening rain. Once it looks just great to you guys. I don't understand or anything. We're gonna pull the head off, and do some other stuff. So bear with me, hang tight. I'll keep giving you updates as I go. One of the big things I learned as a technician: sometimes it's nicer and easier to make just a big freaking hole. Covers off, seats out. I can easily fit 2 large people in here to pull that head off. Gives me a place to sit and a place to work. Hopefully you can see this alright. Part alone is worth a video. I'm doing the exhaust manifold on the 65. It's one of the parts you gotta do to get to the head gasket. And this one is everybody's fear. If you know anything, have any experience, that one is the exhaust manifold bolts. They like to break, they don't like to come out. I've been loosening them up slowly. Most of them are kind of going alright. There's a couple of them, at least, that are giving me a little bit of problems. Most of them are these guys right here and here. The light's awful, I know. Let me fix that. A little bit of light right there. Right there. Some of the other ones have been coming off. Best advice I can ever tell you is go slowly. Do not use power tools. Use power tools, they will break. Go off slowly, 1 bolt at a time. Be patient. Don't have any expectations. Just work on getting them loose at some point. I usually ratchet a little bit long. I put a little bit of pressure, not too much, and sometimes you have to work the bolt back and forth. I'll use my breaker bar. Run it in a loosening pattern and tighten, loosen and tighten. And if you've ever run a tap before and followed instructions on that, it's kind of like running a tap. It helps loosen everything up and you slowly work the bolt out. It saves on guessing and drilling. I found out the hard way a long time ago. So, we're going to pull them off. My goal right now is to loosen them up. I'm going to keep some in there. I just want to make sure they're all going to come free, and then I got to remove the collector, which is the exhaust pipe that goes onto the exhaust manifold. So, some things you can also do: spray. Some people use WD-40 and other penetrant oils. PB Blaster is one of my favorites. My favorite. I don't endorse anything. It would be nice if they sent me a case for this, but it's called Kroil. K-R-O-I-L. Orange can. Black writing. Stuff's about 15 or 18 bucks a can. Last time I checked. Totally worth it. That stuff works amazing. The collectors always end up being my favorite. Well, I guess they all do. These will have to get underneath the van to loosen up. can't really see it. I'll move the camera in a second. I'll move the camera now, what the hell. This is the collector right here. Got one bolt right there. Or nut instead, and I got another one right here. This guy is loose. I was able to loosen him. This one is the one I'm gonna fight. It's hard to hold the camera overhead, so there's no right or wrong way to do this. I'm up on top. The ground's all wet because of the rain, so I'm trying to let me show you another cool thing I've got that might work. One of the coolest things I found about 20 years ago. I mean, it's got like 8 teeth in it. It's really rough. Snap on. I don't know who else makes them. Again, I'm not endorsing it. This little ratchet. You put in extensions or flex handles, whatever, breaker bars, however you want. What I'm gonna do is going underneath. With that extension, and the breaker bar. I'll end up going from underneath there. I've got too much flex in here. It's not budging. What's happening is all the tension and torque I'm putting on it is just flexing. That's the downfall of this. No dice. Oh, you didn't get in the shot, Bear. My little once in a while I'll do cameos. If you guys see my videos, you'll see them. Get it, boo. Wrenching with cats. Next video is how to pull this thing out. Haha, just kidding. Alright, I'm gonna go loosen that one up before I pull the exhaust manifold off. Stay tuned for more adventures. Or I gotta come up with something to say. Anyways. So we're crawling underneath the van. It's almost upside down, but you can see, get an idea minus the light. There's the exhaust manifold. I can get a different angle. As my point with this is underneath or through a wheel well on some vehicles, you can also access the bolts. Oh, there we go. So we got most of the bolts, they're all loose. There's the collector I was talking about. One bolt that I already removed. I got one underneath the starter right there, but I should be able to take that all off without removing anything else. Again, trying to wrench and hold the camera at one spot, for me, I watch videos like that and they just kind of tick me off. So, I'm going to loosen the rest of those off by hand, get that manifold out of there, go to the easy stuff. One note, when it comes to these, I like doing the exhaust manifolds first because sometimes they suck, they take a lot of time, they can be very frustrating, they put them behind you, so. Alright, so one thing I can definitely say about this van, it's not terrible to work on. As a professional mechanic, I've worked on a bunch of vans and you get used to them. This one I'm able to make a hole and work out of 2 doors. Let me show you where we're at. You saw before the cover was removed. We worked at exhaust manifold, and now there's a big hole down there where there's no exhaust manifold. Carburetor was taken off. Started working on removing those heater hoses. They both came off. That is where we're at the moment. My next step, I'm pulling that valve cover off, and then we're going to pull the head bolts out. Here's another view coming in, the space. Better than working over a hood, I'll tell you that. I still nicknamed her the left-handed van, simply because some of the places you got to get into get kind of funky, but really, overall, it's not too bad. Alright, neighbor's dog is barking. Got the valve cover off, got everything about ready to go. Got access to all the head bolts. Got to pull that upper hose off, and then if all goes well, the rocker rail will be off, and hopefully loosen up that head. I was talking about before, we got some thunder coming in, a storm. Temperature just dropped about 10 degrees, so I'm kind of playing beat the clock. I've had that comment before, I won't say anything. One of the handiest things you can ever do. They've got these different picks, little picks and big picks. Be careful not to bust the hoses, but I'll loosen the hoses because they like to stick after a while. I'll run them in there and kind of separate the hose from the housing. There we go. One tech tip as far as keeping things neat. Most of the time I don't mark them, I have an idea. I've been doing it for a while, but if I have to mark them and you can't see, this would be the top hose. Instead of putting top and a narrow and all this stuff, I might put a dot or something or some other kind of reference. I know that's the top, so I'm good. Loosen them and then run them out with the gun. Getting them pretty much in a line. I know I loosened that one up, it was mostly just the socket. And a fun little fact, they had two different options as far as lifters on this, solid and hydraulic, which are the self-adjusting ones. These you actually have to do adjustment on. Old school thinking. Because they weren't sure with the technology. Yet they worked better. They've improved vastly. I usually don't use an impact to loosen anything up. I tend to break more bolts. Yes, 10 different technicians, how they do it. You get 10 different answers. That's just kind of normal. I'm going to keep them all, the bolts in the assembly. That way they all stay together and we'll be good. It's also going to be a good time to check and inspect. I'm not going to do that right now because of time, but later on I'll go through it and take a look at all this stuff. Also safe to mention, before I actually pull the lifters out, I'm sorry, no, the lifters, the push rods, I have a piece of cardboard with all the slots and holes, and I will end up keeping those lined up and numbered so they don't get confused with anything else. Those guys are slowly getting darker. These guys are torqued to 120, who knows what. JLane Creations. Get the news and the weather. We're working on the motor, and it's about to pour. Good thing about the floor, you can never fall off of it. In case I didn't mention it before, disconnect your battery cable, your negative battery cable. Read the Shelton book. If you change your wipers, they'll probably tell you the same thing. I can get everything loosened up. Since it's already raised. Since they're already loose, I can just go ahead and suck them out. Watch out when you use impacts, if you have any dirt or debris or anything, oil, that socket will fling it everywhere. And even though this head's going to the shop, so they can do a valve job and some other stuff, I'm going to do a little bit of porting on this thing. Let it breathe a little bit more. Alright, if all goes well, I'll have everything cleaned up in a moment. The head will be coming off tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Let's try another outro. Yay, fancy words. Alright, with everything loose, the head is ready to come off. I'm going to have a couple friends come by tomorrow and help me, because this head weighs probably somewhere around 80 pounds. Done a lot of old Pontiacs, a lot of old Fords, and they were heavy little you-know-whats. I don't even know what this one weighs, but I'm guessing somewhere around 80 pounds or so. Let the young guys do that. That's a young guy's sport. Stay tuned. I will be back probably after the head is off. Head just lifts up and it goes outside of the van. Come back, kind of show you the head, take a look at that head gasket, see what it looks like. But for now, I'm good. With that storm coming in, I want to put everything up, clean up so my tools are ready for me tomorrow. Thank you for watching. We'll see you later.